Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Pashyami devaംസ്തവ ദേവദേഹേ സർവാംസ്തഥാ ഭൂതവിശേഷസംഘാൻ ബ്രഹ്മാണമീശം കമലാസനസ്ഥ ഋഷീഞ്ച സർവാനുരഗാഞ്ച ദിവ്യാൻ. Arjuna said, I see the gods, O God, in your body, and all specific groups of beings, Brahma the Lord, established on his lotus seat, and all seers, rishis, and divine serpents. One of the major challenges to understand the epics is these various symbols put into it. This picture shows a very familiar ideogram which is very well known to the Indian people. Vishnu is pictured as a god reclining on a snake. The snake itself is shown with a coil and no end is seen. The name of the serpent is Ananta, and it is said to be floating in a milk ocean, and it is a many-headed snake, thousands of heads, it is said. And this universe is said to be supported by the many heads of Shauri or Ananda, Sheshanaga. He has many names. At the feet of the Lord is Lakshmi, the goddess of grace. He listens to the music of the rishis, especially Narada. Although here Narada is shown with a beard, you should imagine it without beard, because Narada is ever young. It's in our case old to have a beard. And there is a lotus flower in which Brahma the Creator is seated. And on the by the head side of the snake is the eagle, Garuda. Now what do all these represent? The substratum is shown as an ocean of milk. When we are born, the first nourishment that is given to us is the mother's milk. Thus, milk symbolizes our sustenance. Vishnu is the god of sustenance. Brahma is the god of creation, Vishnu is sustaining us, and Maheshwara dissolves everything. So milk ocean is suggesting that here is a god of sustenance. And the god of sustenance is reclining. He is not sitting in an alert state of wakefulness, but he is between wakefulness and sleep. That suggests he is in a dream state. He is passive. On one side he is wakeful, and on the other side he is in the dream world. Thus from the world of sleep, from the world of unconscious, there is something being promoted to the conscious side. And thus its place in psychology is where the pre-conscious is. Between the unconscious and the conscious is the pre-conscious happening. And the pre-conscious is a world of the psyche which bristles with memories. Sustenance is possible only through memory. If you learn something, you will be able to recall and perform it again and again and again. Endlessly it can be performed. And these ideas are all to be put into our concept of Vishnu. He is the one who is enabling the registration of an experience. Take the impressions, preserve the impressions as memory. Vishnu is just another term for memory and recall. All these books which we see here, you can say these are all aspects of Vishnu. If you have a big library, it is as good as saying that you are a worshipper of Vishnu. Yes. What sustains this world through a millennium is the knowledge of our forefathers, people who have gone before us. And that is helping the next idea to be built. Thus knowledge is being piled upon knowledge, and that is the modern way of worshipping Vishnu. So Vishnu can be what is in the genes. Vishnu can be what is in a library. Vishnu can be what is in your own memory. From everywhere, for the sustenance of this world, previous experiences are pressed into use in the present. And thus there is a promotion from the storehouse of knowledge, storehouse of memory, to where that memory can be actively used. But his own placement is a passive one, because he passes on to one who comes from within himself to create it. The gestaltation or the creation is passed on to an aspect of him. Therefore Brahma is made an aspect of Vishnu. The navel is considered as the area of the genetics, and the flower is coming from there. Flower is a symbol of the libido, and in the case of flowering forth, ideas flower forth in us. Creation is the flowering of the mind of an artist, mind of a painter, mind of a musician, mind of a writer, mind of an architect. So it's only appropriate that Brahma is put in the lotus that comes from the navel of Vishnu. And then Brahma is facing all the four sides. as creation on all sides. In other words, it is a horizontal function. Something which comes vertically becomes horizontalized and flows in all directions, and therefore Brahma is shown with his face on all sides. This, there has to be an approbation of whatever is recalled. So the music is like a kind of an acclaim, kind of a recognition of whatever is being presented, and grace accompanies it. Then the many-headed god, snake. Snake itself is another symbol of the libido, and there is also an opposite one, that is the eagle. According to the story in the Mahabharata, both the snake and the eagle are born of the same father, Kashyapa, and their mothers are sisters. The mother of the eagle is the elder mother, and the junior is the mother of the snake. So there is a kind of superiority placed there for the eagle, and she is given the elder mother. And they were only two. So these numbers also mean very much. Only Aruna and Eagle are the Garuda are the two sons of Vinita. And Kadru has ever so many. Like Pandu having only 5 children. The Pandavas are 5 and the Kauravas are 101. So a quantitative mass, showing that they are of lesser value. At the same time, both the eagle and the snake are considered endless. Their life is endless. In the Yoga Vasishtha, we see Vaishampayan, and who is also a Chiranjeevi, he lives forever. And Garuda is a Chiranjeevi, he lives forever. And he is the vehicle of Vishnu. See, Vishnu is lying on the surface of the depth, but he can rise on the eagle and go to great heights, soar to great heights. Memory has 2 roles. It is both retrospective and prospective. When you make it prospective, you use memory for imagination. And an intuitive flight of the imagination to great heights is just like memory is taken on the wings of the intuition, and it has gone to sublime heights. There you say Vishnu is on the eagle, is carried on the wings of the eagle. Otherwise, he himself is floating on a greater depth of sustenance. And that milk ocean, when it was churned, Lakshmi came. That means at the depth there are great values. And the height also there is value. Indraloka is supposed to be above. Satyaloka is supposed to be above. Brahma is not at the same level of Vishnu. Brahma is in Satyaloka, the world of truth. That is ego. But other values like kamadhenu, desires, the the cow which can grant all desires, that comes from the depth. It is again reference to the depth of the psyche, depth of the libido. So this is an ideogram which is full of meaning. You can go on describing it endlessly, and there is no end to it. So somebody went to Narayana Guru and asked him, is it true to say that the world, all these worlds are supported on the head of Sheshanaga, Ananda? And she said, what is the theory of modern people? Oh, modern people say that there is no Vishnu and there is no Ananda, all these are superstitions. But then how all these stars and all the sun, everything is standing there? That is because they are all supported by, say, a gravitational force. How big is it? Oh, it is endless. Yes, and they also say Ananda, it's endless. An endless force is supporting all this. So your objection is only in picturizing it, don't picturize it. But you understand the same thing. So on Ananda's head, everything is being arrested for sustenance. So, but it is what is called Kavijana Kalpidam, the imagination of the poet. The poet makes it easy for you to memorize it, to structure it, to put it in a compact way. So you should be thankful to the poet instead of saying he is giving you superstition. Superstition is because you do not have his imagination. He has this great imagination to piece them all together into one picture. Now grace at the feet of the Lord. And the Lord himself is shown as in a half sleep. And then one part of the dream is becoming wakeful and become the creative Brahman. And below it is the depth, the unconscious. Thus the entire scheme of the mind is given here. At the feet of the Lord is Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the goddess of aesthetics, goddess of all finer emotions and feelings. And the creation that takes place is axiologically governed by grace or Lakshmi. From the Lord comes the memories, and from the mother comes the purpose, the meaning. So there is a flowing in from two directions. From the polarization of Vishnu and Lakshmi, just like Shiva and Shakti. And this is the first thing which is presented here as Arjuna says. Pashyami devam stava deva dehe sarvam stadha bhuda vishesha sanghan brahmanamisham kamalasanastam rishinja sarvanuragancha divyan anega bahudara vaktra netram pashyami tam sarvado anandarupam nandam na madhyam na punastavadim. Pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa Aneka Bhagudara Vaktra Netram Pashyami Tvam Sarvado Anandarubam Nandam Namadhyam Napunastavadim Pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. I see you, a boundless form on every side, with multitudinous arms, stomachs, mouths, and eyes. Neither your end, nor your middle, nor your beginning do I see, O Lord of the universe, O universal form. Kiridinam Gadinam Chakranam Ja Tejo Rashi Sarvado Dittimandam Pashyami Tvam Durniriksham Samanda Diptanalarkandidam Aprameyam. I behold you with diadem, mace, and discus, glowing everywhere as a mass of light, hard to look at, everywhere blazing like fire and sun, and unpredictable. Scientists has put in a symbolic way all these four signs of Vishnu. There is a maze, there is the chakra, the discus. And also there is a reference to his crown. And it's all described as Tejo Rashi, resplendent, Sarvadaha on all sides, Deeptimandam, shining forth, Duruniriksham, difficult to look at, Deepthan Anarkadiri, and it has the great brilliance of fire and sun, Aprameyam. You cannot even make it a subject of your discussion. Tvam Samandat, you, I see this way. Here he does not say that he sees the face or the person. His reference is to the brilliance. His reference is to the Gita and the Chakra. He has also two other symbols, such as the lotus. Difficult to look at. Deepthan Anarkadiri. And it has the great brilliance of fire and sun. Aprameyam. You cannot even make it a subject of your discussion. Tvam Samandat, you, I see this way. Here he does not say that he sees the face or the person. His reference is to the brilliance. His reference is to the Gita and the Chakra. He has also two other symbols, such as the lotus and also the conch shell. But here it is said, I behold you with a diadem, mace, and discus, glowing everywhere as a mass of light, hard to look at, everywhere blazing like fire and sun, unpredictable. So this is a war situation. And the purpose of this is to remove from Arjuna's mind any hope of saving anyone with his special valor. And if he thinks that he is not going to kill Bhishma and Drona and thus shows some favor to them whom he loves. Now, the sheer necessity which is facing people in a fateful situation is what is going to be described. And so, those two weapons which are terrible, such as the mace and the fiery discus, these are highlighted here. And first also the crown. See, when you see a Kathakali, for instance, what is first shown is the crown, the top of the crown, and it is decorated with all kinds of shining, brilliant things, colorful. That is the presence of Vishnu. So instead of seeing Vishnu as such, a crown of Vishnu alone is shown. In the Balaji, who is at Tirupati also, what is important is not his face. It is just all made almost invisible with a dark color, but a very great crown with all kinds of jewels in it, and various other kinds of jewels, which shows that he is resplendent. There's great value, grace. That is shown. And then again, the screen goes up, and next time what you see is there comes the sharp nails of the actor, which is put on the screen, and the nails are shown to the audience. So that is the other side of grace. That is, this is not a kind of a sloppy god. As he means business. When he makes up his mind to kill, he kills. There is total destruction possible. If he knows how to create, he also knows how to dissolve. So here Vishnu is supported on both sides with two aspects, creative aspect and the destructive aspect. And it is symbolized usually at the beginning of a Kathakali by showing the crown and also showing the sharp nails. Nails are very important in mythology. We have in Ramayana Shurpanakha. It's just the opposite of Sita. Sita is supposed to have delicate hands with fingers which are as delicate as the petals of a flower or the tendrils of a creeper. And she is contrasted with Shurpanakha. Nakha is like nails, it is Shurpa, which is very, very sharp, the sharp nailed one. If you look at all the symbols given in mythology like that, they speak to us more than the book itself, what is described in words. Tvamaksharam paramam vedidavyam Tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam Tvamavveha shashvata dharma gopta Sanatanastvam purusho madome. You are the imperishable, the supreme that is to be known. You are the ultimate basis of this universe. You are the unexpended and everlasting custodian of natural law. You are the immemorial person, I believe. So these are all words of great praise, and usually chanted with great devotion. अनादिमध्यान्तमनन्दवीर्य अनन्दबाहुं शशिसूर्यनेत्रं पश्यामि त्वं दीप्तहुदाशवक्त्रं स्वतेजसा विश्वमिदं तवन्दम्. Very, very beautifully put here by Andy. You can see faces on all sides. Without, and also hands everywhere. Hands and legs, faces. And the next verse also goes along with that. द्यावा पृथिव्योरिदमन्तरं हि व्याप्तं त्वयैकेन दिशं च सर्वाः दृष्ट्वाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदं लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मन्. The space between heaven, earth, and the intermediate realm is pervaded by you alone, as also the coordinates, directions. Having seen this wonderful, terrible form of yours, the three worlds are in distress, O great self. So here when the cosmic form is shown, Arjuna does not say, I am most pleased, I am most pleased. But he says, the whole world is now distressed seeing this. So if the cosmic form is not shown to anyone, there is good reason for it. Even a little of it frightens you so much. Sometimes in the earlier experiences of a person getting into some yogic trances, they become so frightened. It can be very frightening. One of my friends, a psychiatrist in India, a Siddha, a Tamil Siddha yogi, visited him. And he said he could demonstrate the powers of a yantra. And he was curious. He said, all right. So here, in a copper plate, he made a triangular yantra, which has tridents marked in the angles. I've seen that. And some mantras are written in the corner. And the psychiatrist was asked to sit with this yantra before him and look at these three corners and just repeat what he was saying there. He did not say anything else. And so this man, he went on looking at it, and for the first 5 or 6 days nothing happened. And he was going to feeling it very boring and want to throw it away. But on the 6th day, when he was sitting there, he thought he was hearing the sound of an aeroplane coming closer and closer. And he says where the planes go to the airport, and so he thought probably it was a plane. But then it appeared, and it was not like a plane, because it was coming very close into the room. And when he was wondering what it was, he felt that somebody had bodily lifted him from his seat and he was thrown away. And he was very much shook by that. How he could be bodily thrown away from his seat like that. He's a very courageous person also, but this was something totally unexpected from such a small little copper plate just by repeating a certain mantra. How could this happen? What do we know of what energy, where it is lying buried, and how it would open up? We do not know. Similarly, in our body also, there are so many secrets lying dormant. And going into it is like going into some of the vaults in a pyramid, and you open up as in Arabian Night Tales, you may find all kinds of world opening up. अमीहित्वं सुरसङ्घा विशन्ति केचिद्भीदाः प्राञ्जलयो गृह्णन्ति स्वस्तीत्युक्त्वा महर्षि सिद्धसङ्घाः स्तुवन्ति त्वां स्तुतिभिः पुष्कलाभिः. रुद्रादित्या वसवो ये च साध्या विश्वेशिनो मरुदचोष्मपाश्च गन्धर्वयक्षासुरसिद्धसङ्घा वीक्षन्ते त्वं विस्मिताश्चैव सर्वे. Into you enter those hosts of the suras, gods. Some in fear of you mutter with joined palms. Bands of great rishis, seer sages, and perfected ones, siddhas, hail you with a cry, may it be well, and praise you with resounding hymns. The Rudras, Adityas, Vasus, and Sathyas, Vishwas, and the two Ashwins, Maruts, and Vashamavas, hosts of Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, and Siddhas, all gaze at you, wonderstruck. रूपं महते बहुवक्त्रनेत्रं महाबाहो बहुबाहुरुपादं बहुदरं बहुदंष्ट्राकराळं दंष्ट्रालोकाः प्रव्यथितास्तथाहम्. Seeing your great form with many mouths and eyes, O mighty armed one Krishna, of many arms, thighs and feet, with many stomachs, with many terrible teeth, the worlds are distressed, as also myself. The more we look into the meaning of life, we see this terrible aspect of how mercilessly everything is falling into the mouth of the unavoidable disaster, death, disease, whatever, and how you become the food of someone else. And human beings themselves are gobbling up many living beings. Our mouth is also like the terrible mouth of God, into which are flowing the vegetative world, the worlds of the birds, and the world of cattle, and so many animals are just walking into the mouth of us, the people, but we look very gentle and very kind. Even the other day, Johnny showed me the picture of the Archbishop of Canterbury who was given a pig, and when he was fondling the pig, he said, I wouldn't have any hesitation to eat this. So he was thinking of eating it. We were having vegetarian meals at Holland. I was giving a class, and then one man who was there, he said he went to India and he came to know that in India there was cow slaughter banned, and in the streets of Delhi when he saw fat cows walking, he remembered eating steak and his mouth watered, he said. So there is nothing exaggerating here to say that into your mouth everything is going. नभस्पृशं दीप्तमनेकवर्णं व्यात्ताननं दीप्तविशालनेत्रं दृष्ट्वा हि त्वां प्रव्यथितान्तरात्मा धृतिं न विन्दामि शमं च विष्णो दंष्ट्राकराळानि च ते मुखानि दृष्टैव कालानलसन्निभानि दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्म प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास. On seeing you touching the sky, shining in many a color, with mouths wide open, with large fiery eyes, my inmost self intensely distressed, I find neither courage nor control. O all-pervading one, having seen your mouth fearful with teeth like time's devouring flames, I lose my spatial bearings and find no joy. Be gracious, O Lord of gods, container of the world. अमीजत्वां धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्राः सर्वे सहैवावनिबालसङ्घैः भीष्मो द्रोणा सूतपुत्रस्तथासौ सहस्मदीयैरवि योधमुख्यैः वक्त्राणि ते त्वरमाणा विशन्ति दंष्ट्राकराळानि भयानकानि केचिद्विलग्नादशनान्तरेषु सन्दृश्यन्ते चूर्णितैः वृत्तमाङ्गैः. All these sons of Dhritarashtra with hosts of rulers, Bhishma, Drona, and that son of a charioteer, Karna, with our warrior chiefs, are rushing into your fearful mouths terrible with teeth. Some are found sticking in the gaps between the teeth, with their heads crushed to powder. His main concern, Arjuna's, was of killing Bhishma and Drona. And at the same time, the one person whom he could not excuse at all in his life was Karna, although Karna was his own brother. Because when Arjuna, in the great tournament, proved himself to be the best among all, and his victory was applauded by all, and there was no one who was equal to Arjuna, there walked in Karna and challenged him. And at that time, he was put off by Drona, saying that you cannot fight with Arjuna because Arjuna is the son of a king. And you are, who are you? Who is your father? And at that time, the foster father, who was only a charioteer, he walked in. And Karna had no hesitation to go and touch the feet of the charioteer and call him father. So he is a man of gratitude, and he would never forget any good done to him by anyone, such as Karna. And Duryodhana at once made him king and said, now let them fight. See? And somehow Arjuna just narrowly escaped. So the reference is here given to Bhishma and Drona, for whom Arjuna very much cared, and also to the son of the charioteer, who was his greatest rival, Karna, from whom he was just saved on that critical day. To see that all of them are going into the same mouth of destruction, This should not leave any doubt in the mind of Arjuna afterwards that it was he who was responsible for the death of anyone. And he could see them die, and afterwards it was only just um, a kind of a reliving of it in memory. यथा नदीनां बहवोऽम्बुवेगाः समुद्रमेवाभिमुखा द्रवन्ति तथा तवामि नरलोकवीरा विशन्ति वक्त्राण्यभिविज्वलन्ति. As many rushing torrents of rivers rise towards the ocean, so do these heroes in the world of men gender your flaming mouths. Who can escape death? One day it should come. Although we are preparing ourselves for life, we are all drifting all the time towards death. And it will come, and it will take everyone. Nobody will be spared. And if you have a certain eye to see that mouth of death, then you see life like big rivers coming from all directions and entering into the ocean of death. यथा प्रदीप्तं ज्वलनं पतङ्गाः विशन्ति नाशाय समृद्धवेगाः तथैव नाशाय विशन्ति लोकाः तथापि वक्त्राणि समर्थवेगाः. As moth speed into a blazing fire to be destroyed, just so do these words also speed into your mouth unto their destruction. लेलिह्यसे ग्रसमानः समन्ताल्लोकान् समग्रैः वदनैर्जलद्भिः तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत्समग्रं भासस्तवोग्राः प्रदवन्ति विष्णो. You lick up, devouring all words on every side with your flaming mouth, filling the whole world with glory. Your fierce rays are blazing forth, O all-pervading one. आख्याहि मे को भवानुग्ररूपो नमस्तुते देववर प्रसीद विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यं न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम्. Tell me who you are, so fierce in form. I bow to you, O superior God, be gracious. I want to understand you, O Prime One, nor do I know your positive continued becoming. And finally, the very Lord to whom he was so very intimate says, I do not understand you. Who are you? And even after knowing and hearing everything, we do not know. Then the Lord himself says, Khalosmi logatshayakrit pravartho logan samahartumiha pravartaha hridevitvam na bhavishyanti sarve हे अवस्थिताः प्रत्यनीकेषु योधाः. तस्मात् त्वमुत्तिष्ठ यशो लभस्व जित्वा शत्रून् पुङ्क्ष्व राज्यं समृद्धम्. मयैवैते निहताः पूर्वमेव निमित्तमात्रम् भवसव्यसाचिन्. द्रोणं च भीष्मं च जयद्रथं च कर्णं दधान्यानभियोधवीरान् Maya hatvam stajahi ma vedishta yuddhasya jeda sirane sabatman. There comes a time in our life when we have to make a hard decision, to fight or to resign, to take a risk, to gamble with our life. And it so happens that when a patient cannot be anymore cured by a physician, the surgeon decides to make a gamble. Either he will be saved or he will die. But if I do not try to save now, he will anyway die. So one thing is that death is sure. But how long I can push that death, that much good is there. So I shall go ahead. He is as good as dead now. But why not then we gamble with his life? Sometimes probably we will be able to save for some time, maybe for many years, maybe for a little while. And so you can go ahead with it with a great resolution. Resolution to say, make the maximum out of it. So here Krishna says, you are anyway, all of you are going to die. So what is the point in now retreating? Get up. At least now you have started this. Suppose the surgeon starts his operation and then finds that he shouldn't have done it. Then there is no point in retreating. Go ahead with the whole thing. At least you can take specimens from this and mount for the pathology museum. You may not be able to save him, but you can cut out good pieces and mount them. What is there? Ultimately what can happen will happen. So here Krishna says, all of you are going to die. Nobody will escape. And you came here to fight. There is no point, I do not see any point in your retreating at this, retreating now. So get up and fight. And a lot of noise is made about these verses. From Yale University, a professor was sent to India called Dr. Nash to make a big challenge about the ethics, the morality of Bhagavad Gita. And at Madras he of course held conferences in Calcutta and Delhi and big cities, Bombay. He came to Madras, I was there. And he invited all the philosophy students, postgraduate students and graduate students and professors. And this was his only talk. He just chanted these 3 verses and said, how do you justify God himself and coming and saying, kill, fight and kill? How can there be a God who supports war? Although America is never ashamed of it. They send a person all the way to India to say the basic book of India is wrong in its ethics. And all the philosophy professors are challenged to support these verses. Nataraj Guru also in his book, he devotes so many pages to explain verses 32, 33 and 34. I'd like to read a little from this. These 3 verses coming from Krishna form a section of their own and after certain problems connected with the teaching of the Gita. There is apparently a definite incitement to war and encouragement on the part of Krishna here. Many scholars, especially those who have no religious affiliations to India, have very pertinently put their finger on this most important problem. It could be stated thus: how could Krishna, who represents the Absolute or God, and thus goodness, and the highest of spiritual and ethical values, encourage warfare in which the killing of fellow men is involved? Various answers have been put forward by people ranging from mere religious apologists to philosophers, but the vagueness that has surrounded this problem remains to this day. We shall therefore scrutinize these verses very closely for an answer consistent with the teaching of the Gita as a whole. The following considerations could be stated. 1. Throughout the Gita, which is part of an epic poem, there is a general background of warfare which comes into evidence in such expressions describing Arjuna as Parantapa, or burner of foes, and Purusharshapa, or bull among men. We might say, therefore, that the epic setting is the canvas, and that the Gita teaching itself is the painting, which should not be mixed up with the canvas. The incitement to war therefore forms part of the natural or inevitable background of the Gita, which Vyasa could not completely efface without lifting the painting from its natural canvas. 2. Arjuna himself is but one of the ordinary human characters of the epic narrative. He has his own status outside the wisdom context as one of the Pandavas with his own interests to safeguard. However much a man might be a philosopher, there are human limitations to the reaction that a given actual situation might have on an individual. Taking Arjuna as a simple man among men, it is but natural that his brother-in-law, whom he loves and confides in intimately, should advise him not to be a backslider when caught in the imperative necessity of a war situation. As Narayana Guru once put it briefly, Arjuna would have repented for not fighting if he had retired from the battlefield in a moment of philosophical confusion. 3. We have noticed throughout that each chapter of the Gita formed a closed system of its own for darshana, special vision of reality, and the consistency of statements in each chapter had to be referred to its own proper frame and reference, and not crossways between two different visions of reality. And when we come to the end of this chapter, he especially points out uh, say how the Lord says Nurvairaha, and Sangavarjita. So in the very chapter where he was asking Arjuna to get up and fight, he is also teaching these two great values: Nirvaira, that is, having no enmity, and also Sangavarjita, to be devoid of attachment. So this, in the thick of our karma, in the thick of our action programs, we have to adopt this attitude. I have chosen this symbol of the surgeon operating on a patient, because at that time the surgeon is the most typical example of one without any kind of an attachment and any kind of vaira or enmity. Even if it is his enemy who is being operated upon, at that time the surgeon, his ethics is to behave as if that he is only concerned with that the removal of the disease, the removal of the problem, and not about the personal status for the man upon whom he is operating. And he has no attachment. He does not allow the sentiments to come. I once read a very beautiful book called the Surgeon's Diary of a Russian surgeon. A mathematician came to the surgeon and told him and showed him a book. And the book was, he made a theory that no machine can make a machine more complicated than itself. So a man cannot make a computer which is more complicated than his own mind and more perfect than his own mind. So he can only make an approximation to what instrument he has. He said, that's right. But there are many human beings, and each one has a different capability. So from one man you can take the approximation of his ability, then it can be complemented with the ability of another person, and then of another person, and another person. And thus all these people put together, it is not just one brain, it is the approximation of many brilliant brains, and then the computer can supersede the powers of man. And thus he made a very vast study, both the mathematics of it and the technologies of it, and how to accomplish this. And it was at that time it was found out that he had this brain tumor and he was to be operated. And then the surgeon, he gave this book to the surgeon and said, if I survive, come out, you give this back to me. And if I do not, then you use your discretion and use it as good as you can. Out of mere curiosity, the doctor read, skip over first few chapters, and he found that this was a very wrong thing he did before going for this operation, because he built up in his mind such a great esteem for his patient and a great feeling for his patient. So when he entered the operation theater, his mind was full of the great work that was done by his patient, and by some mistake or wrong chance or fate, the patient dies on the table, then the works of so many years become just trash, useless, because another person may not be able even to see the whole point of what he was developing and all the works that are put into it. And then he saw the responsibility was lying with him, and he assumed a greater responsibility than otherwise he would have if he did not read the manuscript of this mathematician's book. And so I was reminded of all this when I was reading these verses. That critical stage. Here I asked the auntie to put a garbage bin in which it is not waste paper or a cotton wool that are thrown away, but many were on the table previously, and finally they all go there. Not that the doctor is throwing them in the garbage bin, but fate does it, time does it. And probably in the same churchyard you can see one operation that failed under one cross, and another operation which was successful in the next under the next cross, and then under the next cross the doctor himself. So they will all be there. So all for a short time, but during that short time you have to do it in an impassionate way, a dispassionate way. What is his life when you think about it? So here Nataraj Guru says, The 11th chapter, although on one side it looks that there is an apparent call for a drastic action like a war, there is also the teaching which speaks of having no rivalry or no vairagya, and not vairagya in the spiritual sense, wanting to avenge, wanting to take revenge, and then also no kind of attachment. And it is with that you are prepared for the 12th chapter. Dronanja Bhishmanja Jayadradhanja Karnam Tadhanyanapi Yodha Viran Maya Hadamstam Jahima Vadishta Yuddhasvat Yeda Sirane Sabatman. And here the Lord says, Maya Hadan, by me it's already killed. Dronam cha Bhishman cha Jayadradham cha Karnam cha Tatha Anyan Yodha Viran api. By me already are killed. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadrasa, Karna and other Yudha Viras. Tvam, you, Jahi, kill. Ma Vasishta, without any sorrow or regret. Yuddhasa Rene, in the battle you fight. Sabatman Jeda Asi, and that way you will become victorious. So what is here? They are already killed by time, by fate. You have only to just to show your hand there. Again, this is the same thing. When the patient is critical and the doctor knows there is almost no hope, it is as good as is that. I am just only using my hand a little. It may happen either way. Either way, one way is with this, his suffering will come to an end. Otherwise, he will live for a little while. It all depends on him, God alone. So there God becomes nothing but favorable or unfavorable fate. Hyedachrutva vajanam keshavasya kritanjilirvevamana kiridi namaskritva bhuya evaha krishnam sagatkadam phida pranamya. Then Sanjaya is reporting now. Having heard that speech of Keshava, Krishna, the diademed one Arjuna, with worshipfully joined the palms, trembling, inclining himself again before Krishna with emotional stuttering, in sustained fear, bowing down, spoke. See here, he used the word, the diademed one, Kiridi. What is the use of being a Kiridi here? He is frightened to his bones, he is trembling, and he cannot even speak, he is stuttering. So all your glories, then it comes to a close here. Before the glorious you are nobody. Death has the highest victory over everything. Sthane Hrishikesh tava prakrtya jagat prahrushyatyanuranjade cha Vyakshamsi bhidani disho dravandi sarve namasyandija siddha sankha. O Hrishikesha, Krishna, it is but right that the world is delighted in praising you, that demons fly in fear to every quarter, and that all hosts of perfected ones bow in adoration to you. Kasmachadena nemiran mahatman gariyase brahmanopyati karta न कर्त्रे आनन्ददेवेश जगन्निवासा त्वमक्षरं सदसत्तत्परं यत्. And why should they not bow to you, O great self, more venerable even than Brahma, the first maker, or endless God of gods, basis of the universe? You are the imperishable one, existence and non-existence. And what is beyond even that? Kasmachadena Namerin Mahatman Gariyase Brahmanopyadigartre Ananda Devesha Jagannivasa Tamaksharam Sadasat Tatparam Yat Tamadideva Purusha Purana Samasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Vetasi Vedyam Jabaranja Dhama Taya Tadam Vishwamanandarupa. You are the first of the gods and the ancient spirit. You are the supreme basis of the universe. You are both the knower and the noble. You are the transcendent beyond and the immanent receptacle here. The universe is pervaded by you, O one capable of limitless form. Vayuryamalmiru Varuna Shashanga Prajapadistam Pravidamahascha Namo Namaste Stu Sahasra Krutva Puranja Bhuyo Vinamo Namaste. You are Vayu, wind deity, Yama, death deity, Agni, fire deity, Varuna, sea deity, Shashanga, lunar deity, Prajapati, first of progenitors, and the great grandsire, hail, hail to you, 1,000 times, and again hail, hail to you. Nama Purasthadada Prashtadasthe Namastude Sarvadayeva Sarva Ananda Viryahamida Vikramastam Sarvam Samapnoshi Tadosi Sarvam. Prostration to you before and after, prostration to you on every side, O all of endless potency and immeasurable strength. You terminate all, then you become all. Now Arjuna realizes his mistake, that he was all these years thinking of Krishna only as another man, a friend, and he is now struck with remorse for behaving without due respect and reverence to the Absolute. Sakhedi matva prasabham yaduktam He Krishna he Yadava he Sakhedi Ajanada mahimanam tavedam Maya pramadat pranayena vabi Yachavaha sartha asatkritosi vihara shayyasana bhojaneshu Yegodhavapyachudadat samaksham tatshamaye tvamahamaprameyam. Whatever I have said rashly from carelessness or fondness, addressing you as O Krishna, O Yadava, O comrade, thinking of you as an intimate and ignorant of this your greatness, and for whatever jesting irreverence I may have shown you, whether at play or reposing or seated, or at meals, either when remaining by myself or when you are present, that I ask O Achyuta Krishna to forgive, O unpredictable one. And some of the very beautiful verses are here. Pidasi logasya jarajarasya Tamasya pujyasya gurur gariyan नत्वस्तमस्योऽप्यधिककृतज्ञो लोकत्रयेऽप्यप्रतिमप्रभावः. You are the Father of the world, of the moving and the unmoving. You are to be reverenced by this world, and are the Supreme Guru. None is your equal. How then could there be one greater than you? Even in the three worlds, O one of incomparable greatness. Tasmat pranamya pranidhaya gayam prasadaye tvamahamicha midyam pideva putrasya sakheva sakyuhu priyayarhasi deva sotum. Therefore, bowing down and prostrating my body, I seek your grace, O adorable Lord. It is but proper that you, O God, should bear with me as father to son, as friend to friend, as lover to beloved. Adrishtapurvam hrishdosmi drishtva bhayena cha pravyadhidam mano me tadeva me darshaya devarupam prasida devesha Jagannivasa. I am glad having seen what has never been seen by anyone before, and my mind is troubled with fear. Show me that very form, O God, be pleased, O God of gods, O abode of the universe. I want to see you even so diademed with mace and discus. In your hand, assume that very form with four arms, O thousand-armed, O one of universal form. So this was the last request of Arjuna. There is a familiar theistic form of God as the four-handed Vishnu, and this is an archetypal form of the Supreme in the mind of many Indians. And when they see it, they feel pacified, inspired, glorified, and he asks for that. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. And again here the word Adrishta is very important. Adrishta Purvam. Actually it implies Adrishtam and Apurvam. What you have not experienced before, when you experience that, that marks the peak of your spiritual height, spiritual realization. What you have seen, not seen, what you cannot see with your eyes, when you see with the eye of your wisdom, then the adrishtam becomes a drishyam. So the apurvam becomes an anubhuti. The adrishtam becomes drishtam. That marks the climax. And here Arjuna says that he has seen what is not seen before, and he has seen what could not be seen. Kiridinam gadinam jakrahasta michhami tvam drishtumaham tadhaiva tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasra baho bhava vishwamurte. Then the Lord says, Maya prasannena tavarjunedam rupam param darshidam atma yogat tejo mayam vishwamananda madhyam yanme tadanyena nadrishtabhurvam. Krishna said, by my favor, O Arjuna, the supreme form has been shown by the yoga pertaining to the self, made up of light, universal, endless, primal, never before seen by any other than yourself. This is this world. The phenomenon of the world is also shown by the Yoga Maya of the Lord. And it is the same Yoga Aishwarya of the Lord that this vision is also shown. That this vision is as much phenomenological as the world itself. In fact, this is only an insight into the phenomenal world. न वेदयज्ञाध्ययनैर्न दाने न च क्रियाभिर्न तपोभिरुग्रैः एवं रूपं शक्यमहं नृलोके द्रष्टुं तदन्येन कुरु प्रवीरा. Neither by the Vedas, sacrifices, nor by study, nor by gifts, nor by ritual, nor by severe austerities can I possibly be seen in such a form in the human world by anyone other than you, O Shiro, or the Kurus, Arjuna. Made vyatha macha vimudha bhavo drashtva rupam khorami drumamedam vivedabhi pridamanaha punastam tadeva me rupamidam prapasya. Be not distressed, do not be confused. Having seen such a terrible form of mine, free from fear, mentally comforted, again behold that very form of mine presently here. Then again Sanjaya comes. Ityarjuna vasudevastadhoktva swagam rupam darshayamasa bhuya आश्वासयामास च भीतमेनं भूत्वा पुनः सौम्यभवत् महात्मा. Having thus spoken to Arjuna, Vasudeva Krishna again showed his own form, and the great self, becoming mild in form, consoled him who was terrified. Then again Arjuna speaks. Drishtvedam maharsham rupam तव सौम्यं जनार्दन इदानीमस्मि संवृत्तः सचेताः प्रकृतिं गतः. Beholding again this your mild human form, O Janardana Krishna, I am now calm, with the living mind restored to its natural state. Sudurdarshamidam rupam drashtavanasi yanmama devapyasya rupasya nityam darshanagam. Krishna said, this form of mine which you have seen is very hard to see indeed. Even the gods ever aspire to behold this form. Here Guru says, by saying that even the gods are aspiring for this vision, that Arjuna as a mere human being has had the privilege of seeing, the status of the Absolute as representing the vision is raised far above the scope of and context of religion altogether. It must be thought of as being of a highly mystical or contemplative order. Naham vedairna tapasa na dani na ja na jaya shakya evam vidho drashtam drashtavanasi mam yatha. So again it says, not by Vedas, not by austerity, not by gifts, not by sacrifice can I be seen in this form as you have seen me. Bhaktya tvanyaya shakya ahamevam vidho arjuna jnatum drashtum cha tattvena praveshtum cha parantava. But by devotion that excludes all else, O Arjuna, I can be known, seen, and in principle entered into Parintapa. Thus, toward the end, we are already prepared for the next chapter, which is Bhakti Darshana, Bhakti or devotion, which is to be considered as entering into perfect bipolarity with the Supreme. It comes to a close. Matkarmagrit matparamo matbhaktah sangavarjidah nurvairah sarvabhudeshu vyasa mahamedi pandava. He who does action that are mine, whose supreme is myself, whose devotion is to me, devoid of attachment, free from enmity to all beings, he reaches me, O Pandava, Arjuna. So if there is any excess which is felt in this word, in this chapter of inciting Arjuna, that is now here corrected by saying that you reach me only if you perform your action without any sense of vengeance or anger, with a mind which is cool and collected as of a contemplative. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate